Amy.
And I'm Laura.
And we are Two Paper Girls. The BooktubeAthon has finished. It was from the 3rd to the 9th of August and we did so well and we've had so much fun and we're so happy.
We're going to give you a quick wrap up of everything that we read and what we thought about all the books.
The first book I read was Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, which completed the challenge of read a book that is someone else's favourite. This is Laura's favourite. I really enjoyed this. I think it's one of my favourites that I've read during the BooktubeAthon. You know the story of Peter Pan. He's the guy that never grows up, and Neverland was so beautiful, but it was kind of like the creepy, like metaphorical undertones of it that made me really enjoy it, and I'd really recommend this book. It's not as kiddie as you think it's going to be. I gave Peter Pan 4 out of 5 stars.
The first book I read was the Unite Me novellas by Tahira Mafi. This goes along with the Shatter Me series, and it had a section in Warner's perspective called Destroy Me, Adam's perspective called Fracture Me, and then Juliet's journal at the end. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave it 3 stars, maybe 3.5, because overall it was really enjoyable little addition to the series, but it obviously wasn't amazing because it was just some novellas and I didn't really like Juliet's journal. But Adam's story was surprisingly good because I don't like Adam and I thought I wouldn't like his story, but you could kind of maybe sympathise with him a bit more. And obviously Warner's story was great and the main reason I read this, and this fulfilled the challenge of read a book that you really want to read.
Book number 2 was Trash by Andrew Mulligan. I really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. I was expecting more from this book. I'm not sure what that more was, but I just wanted more. I enjoyed the book code and the mystery behind it, but it just felt like a mystery book of like a whodunit, and it didn't really go into much detail. But the characters I found I really enjoyed and I really loved them. And I think that's what made this book really quite special, even though the plot made it not quite a 4 out of 5 stars for me. And this book fulfilled the challenge of read a book that you really want to read.
The next book I read was Rat Queens. I still don't know who it's by. Wait, hold on. By Curtis J. Weeb and Rock Upchurch. Strange names, I never give them credit though. This was amazing. I gave this 5 stars. This fulfilled the challenge of read a book without letting go of it because I read it all in one sitting, and I just really enjoyed this. The characters were really well developed and you could just tell that the writers and the artists had really thought through what they wanted to do with it before writing this. It didn't feel like an introductory, like all the characters were just really fully fledged and it was so funny. I actually laughed out loud, which I never do with books because I found it hilarious. It was so sassy and just amazing. It had a lot of twists and turns I didn't expect, and I really want volume 2 because this is my favourite graphic novel I've read so far.
The third book I read was The Possession of Mr. Cave by Matt Haig. This fulfilled the challenge of read a book where the author's second name begins with the same letter as your second last name. I really enjoyed this book. It creeped me out though. Like, I didn't enjoy it, as in I enjoyed reading it. When I was reading it, I was like, I want this to end. I'm really not enjoying what it's about. It's a really uncomfortable topic of a man who's lost his wife and his son and only has his daughter left, but he gets really possessive over her, which is why I like the title, because it's like the possession of Mr. Cave, like he's been possessed by some sort of like angry dad demon who looks after his kid, but also his possession is like his child, like the possession of Mr. Cave is his child Bryony. I think I only gave this book 3.5 stars though because it creeped me out and it was quite a difficult topic to read about, but the writing style was amazing and Matt Haig's a brilliant writer.
Next book I read was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. This fulfilled the challenge of, like Amy's, read someone with the first letter of your last name, blah blah blah. I'm proud of myself for finishing this because it was my biggest book of the BooktubeAthon and one that I had doubts about finishing. It was 425 pages, so a lot bigger than the other books I've been reading, and I totally loved this. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of this one and I can see why you might not be, but for me I have a weird relationship with reading series and in general, but also specifically this series because I've had a up and down feelings about it. And City of Glass I didn't really enjoy until the very end because I was all disconnected from the characters, so because I read this one pretty recently after finishing City of Glass, I just totally soaked up all the characters. I fell in love with them all over again. I fell in love with the world. The plot kept me reading. It was much more character driven, not very much happened compared to City of Glass, but I quite liked that. It was all just the characters. There was a bigger focus on Simon, and in some ways the ending was predictable in terms of a certain someone coming back, but the actual way it was done took me by surprise, and that was really, really intriguing, and I just can't wait to pick up the rest of the Mortal Instruments series and the Infernal Devices. I gave this, I either 4 or 4.5 stars, I can't remember.
The penultimate book that I finished in the BooktubeAthon was Flood by Eric Drucker. This graphic novel is so beautiful. It has no words, but it just tells the story through pictures. It fulfilled the challenge of read a book without letting go of it, because I actually read it twice without letting go of it, because I finished it and thought, I want to go look at it again. So I flicked through it again, and this story is amazing. It doesn't need words to tell the story at all, and it's just so metaphorical and pretty and lovely and very meta, and I just love this so much, and I really want to read its companion, Blood Song. I gave this graphic novel 5 out of 5 stars.
The penultimate book I read was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This was another graphic novel. This fulfilled the challenge of reading the book you most recently acquired, and I did buy this specifically for the BooktubeAthon because I really, really wanted to read it, and I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. I really like the art style, but I have mixed feelings about this. I'm not sure quite how much I liked it. I don't know, like the cover is gorgeous and I love her art style in general, but in the actual novel it was very small and in little panels, and it was quite hard to read because of the tiny writing, and it lacked some detail, but the art seemed to get a bit bigger as it went along, so then it got a bit more enjoyable, and the story was really good. It took a lot of twists and turns, and the ending I love. The ending definitely brought it up for me, and it took me by surprise, and the characters were just really good, but it felt like it was missing something. I don't know what it was missing. I don't know if it was the story or the art, but it just needed something else. I don't know, but I think I gave this 4 stars anyway because it was a good read and just very creative.
And the last book that I read in the BooktubeAthon was The Assassin's Curse by Cassandra Rose Clark. This fulfilled the challenge. I'll read a book with blue on the cover. It's so blue. This is part of a duology, and the second one is called The Pirate's Wish, and I really want to get it because I gave this book 3.5 stars initially, but now I'm upping it to a 4 now I'm thinking about it. It was really enjoyable. It was about a pirate called Nana, and she's in a arranged marriage and she runs away from it, but then she's chased by an assassin who she saves and then has to follow her around because he's bonded to her, and I really just like their relationship. They're going to fall in love, I can tell, and I really just kind of loved the assassin so much, and this book was just fun and quick, and it's really fast paced. There's always something going on, and I really enjoyed it.
The last book I read was Extraordinary Means by Robin Schneider. This is a gorgeous cover and spine, and I just really wanted to pick it up. It's a good way to describe it is a cross between Looking for Alaska and Tiffios by John Green, but not as good. Like, it had a lot of potential and the characters were really good. Basically, there is this new strand of tuberculosis that's contagious, so, and at the moment not curable, but if you rest a lot on things, the growths and stuff in your lungs can go down and you can go back to your normal life. So all kids are sent to a sort of like an isolation school thing where they can just focus on recovering and not worry about infecting anyone. So that's kind of the Looking for Alaska aspect, because you've got the whole boarding school vibe, which was really, really fun. The characters were great. The group of friends and the friendship was really good in this story. But I just found the ending to be a little bit predictable. I mean, even like the twists and surprises I could just see coming, and I don't know if I just kind of wasn't in a contemporary mood because I sort of wanted them all to become zombies and they didn't. I don't know, I think I wanted a little bit more action-packed and not, I don't know, it felt a little bit inevitable what was going to happen and the way it went, but it was still enjoyable. It just wasn't John Green. I don't know. I'm picky with contemporaries. If they're not as good as John Green, then it just lacks some metaphor and stuff. I don't know. It was good. You should read it. You should still read it. It's good. I gave it 3.5 stars, but it just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. But this fulfilled the challenge of read a book with blue on the cover.
And this book I started but didn't finish at all. I got 64 pages into it. This is Forgive Me Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick, and I will show you this in my August wrap up. That means for the BooktubeAthon I read a total of 1,211 pages, which I'm really happy about. It's been such a good week.
I read 5 books in total and read 1,380 pages, which is crazy. I'm really, really proud of that. I didn't quite complete the challenges of read 7 books or read someone else's favourite book because I didn't want to start Life of Pi and rush through it. I want to take my time with that book. But yeah, no, I had so much fun. This was great and I'm really proud of myself for what I've achieved.
I also didn't complete all the challenges. I didn't read 7 books and I didn't read the last book I acquired, but hopefully I'll be getting round to that in August at some point anyway.
Let us know down below how you did in the BooktubeAthon. This was our first BooktubeAthon and we had so much fun. I already can't wait for the Christmas one and for next year's big summer one. It's just so much fun and it has such a community vibe and the challenges were great and it was just such a great week.
So we'll see you in the next video. Bye!